Hi friends, welcome back to your practice. I am Katie Arnold and today is our gentle yoga for gratitude. In today's super gentle yoga class, we are going to cultivate a sense of gratitude within our bodies. And so for this class, I'm going to suggest that you have 2 blocks. If you don't have any blocks at home, go ahead and find something that can kind of replace that feeling, replace that kind of same idea as a block. I have a whole video on great replacements for props that you may not have at home. But for this class, you could just use a couple of pillows. You could grab a couple of firmer pillows for this class. Now, before we actually get on our mats and start practicing, if you haven't already, please make sure you grab your free mindful movement class calendar from the link below. And this is going to help you tap into that idea of mindful movement, right? So that knowing, that understanding of what your body is asking for each day and kind of how to build that relationship and find the movement practices that best match where you're at that day. So go ahead and roll out your yoga mat and I will meet you there. All right, so we're going to get started lying down all the way on our backs. You'll notice I do have both of my blocks near the top of my mat, so they'll be ready when I need them. So otherwise, go ahead and lie all the way down. Once you get there, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together, knees out nice and wide. So starting in this supine butterfly, I like to bring one hand to my heart, one hand to my belly. Just allowing the hips to open out to the sides, or allowing the knees to open out to the sides, allowing the hips to open up. Connecting with your breath. And this opening of the hips can sometimes be a little uncomfortable. There's a big opening happening, and I don't want you to be in any kind of pain. So if it is painful, then you can just plant your feet on the mat and take the feet out nice and wide and let the knees knock in towards one another. But otherwise, see if you can just hang here a little bit. Allow that opening to happen. These gentle practices where we're moving slowly, we're really getting into this mix of some yin-like postures. We're getting into the deep connective tissues and some restorative as we kind of continue on our practice. So right now we're really in that opening. And this is really beautiful for this idea or this practice of gratitude, because we're creating physical space within the body. And I want you to think of creating this physical space so we have more room for gratitude to live within our bodies, right? So allowing this opening to release things that you're holding on to that are no longer serving you, letting them go. And then creating that space for gratitude and love to take over, to fill you back up. Just a couple more breaths right here. And bringing those knees together, planting the feet on the mat, knees up towards the ceiling. And now extend that left leg out long. Hug that right knee into the chest, just for about 2 breaths. And now take that knee towards the outside edge of the rib cage, like more out towards the armpits. And then take that right hand, reach on the inside of the right knee for the outside edge of the right foot, and open that leg out to the side. So you're in this half happy baby. And really breathe into the openings. Breathing into any little bit of discomfort. Again, we're not looking for this to be painful. So if it's painful, just back out slightly. So finding where your edge is here. And hug that knee back in towards the chest. Bring the hands on the outside of the thigh. And then extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes back towards your face. So really feeling this nice hamstring stretch across the entire backside of the right leg. Bending that right knee, bring the left knee in to meet it, and then drop both legs over towards the left. Extend that right arm out of the right shoulder and gaze over your right shoulder. A really gentle supine twist. If you are in a place where you feel like you want a little bit more out of your twist, then you can keep that left leg extended and just cross the right leg over the left side of the body. Breathing into this twist. Think about wringing out a washcloth, like you're wringing out all that negative energy, that negative emotion, any of those things that you've been holding on to that you're ready to release. Inhale, bringing the knees back in through center. And now we're just going to keep that left knee in, extend that right leg out long. Hold that left knee into the chest for 2 breaths. And now bring that left knee towards the left armpit. Left hand grabs onto the outside edge of that left foot, finding your half happy baby here. And I sometimes like to take that right hand and just bring it to the top of my right hip, just as this really gentle reminder to keep the hips rooting down towards the mat beneath you. And bringing that left knee back in towards the chest and extend that left leg up towards the ceiling. Keeping that right leg extended on your mat. Hands gently clasping behind that left thigh and allowing this to create that nice stretch and opening through the entire backside of the left leg. Bending that left knee, bring that right knee in to meet it, and allowing both legs to drop over towards the right, left arm out of the left shoulder, finding your supine twist. And bringing both knees back in through center. And we're just going to flip all the way over on our bellies. So just flipping over like a little pancake, coming into an intense shoulder stretch. So take that right arm right out of the right shoulder. That right cheek is going to come down onto the mat. Tent up onto those left fingertips and start to roll onto that right hip. And you have control into how deep into the shoulders you get with this stretch. So you can stack those legs if that feels good. You can take that top leg, bend it, and plant the foot behind that right leg. And then just noticing how that gives you a little bit more room to gently lean back and find more of an opening in that shoulder. Last round of breath. And start to come back down onto your belly. And we're going to switch to the other side. So just extending that left arm out of the shoulder, bringing that left cheek down onto the mat, tent up onto those right fingertips, and roll onto that left hip. Again, maybe you stay with the legs stacked, or maybe you bend that top leg and plant it on the mat behind the left leg. Maybe it's a gentle roll, a little bit more on that left hip to get even more opening through that left shoulder. And just breathe into it. Your breath is so powerful. Allow it to take away anything that it needs to. Allow it to be your anchor if you find your mind trying to wander away. This is a short little practice, but that doesn't mean that it's any easier for our monkey mind sometimes to find stillness. So let that breath be the anchor. Rolling back down onto your belly. And press yourself all the way up to a tabletop position. Go ahead and grab your blocks and place them down on your mat. Bring your hands underneath the block. So our tabletop is a little bit elevated here right now. If you were to put a glass of water on your back, it's going to just go sliding right off, but that's okay. We're going to take that right foot, step it up in between those blocks. So my right foot is planted on the mat. We're in this low lunge with our hands on the block just to elevate them a little bit. Start to lean those hips forward a little bit. Try to keep the right knee tracking over the right ankle. And breathe into that opening in the left hip. One more breath here. And now sweep those arms up off of the block, coming into a low lunge with arms elevated. Allow those palms to face forward, cactus those arms, open up your chest. One full round of breath. Inhale, let those arms reach up back high. Take that left hand, place it back down on the block. The right hand stays elevated. Low twisting lunge. You could call it an elevated low twisting lunge. Releasing that right hand back down, step it back to that tabletop position. And then step that left foot forward. So just taking this same little series over to the other side, the same lunging series. So keeping that left knee over the left ankle, shifting the hips forward a little bit. And you might have to either kind of scooch that left foot forward or scooch that right knee back to keep that left knee over the left ankle. And really our goal here is just to keep the knee from going past the toes. Feel that opening through the right hip. Hands just stay down on the block, so no need to try and rush out of here. Releasing the hands from the block. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. Cactus those arms, open up that chest, full round of breath. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, place that right hand down. Left arm now reaches. So taking that low twisting lunge to the other side. Engage the core. Allow it to support you, to hold you here. And placing that left hand back down on the block. Step it back to that tabletop, moving your props out of the way. And take a couple scooches back with those knees. And then now I'll move my block out of the way so you can see. We're going to take a puppy pose. So we want to keep our hips elevated over the knees. And from this tabletop position, we're just going to take a giant step forward with those hands and then soften that heart down to the mat. So depending on where you're at, you might just kind of be hovering that chest. You might be able to get that forehead down on the mat. You might even be able to get the chin down. Getting the chin down on the mat is super advanced. So just find yourself where you're at today. Allow that heart to soften. Soften into the gratitude. Three more breaths. Gently press into those palms, lifting yourself back up, coming back to our tabletop position. And we're going to take our blocks now and set up for a supported fish pose. So I like to take one block, have the long edges of the block parallel with the long edges of your mat, and then take your second block and place it up off of the top, long edge of the block parallel with the short edge of the mat. And I have a little bit of space here. So it kind of looks like a broken T in a way. Then we're going to sit. You're going to have to adjust yourself a little bit. But I'm a couple inches away from the bottom edge of that block. And I'm going to lie down and allow that block to line up with my spine. And so I'm going to scooch myself down just a little bit here. And then the top of the T, of that broken T, is like a little pillow underneath your head. Arms come out to the side. Just allow them to gently open up. And then you can either extend your legs out long on your mat, plant your feet with the knees up towards the ceiling, take the feet out wide, knock the knees in towards one another. That's what I'm going to do. And allow yourself to settle in here, to feel supported by this posture. I'm going to be here for about 8 to 10 breaths. So really let yourself soften. And to gently come out of this, you can either roll over onto one side, or I prefer to just slowly lift myself up off the blocks. Take your blocks out from underneath you and come back down onto your mat. And we're going to come into our final posture. And for our Shavasana today, we're going to take that Supta Baddha Konasana we did at the start of class, that butterfly, but we're going to do it supported. So take the soles of your feet together, knees out wide, and now grab your blocks, and you're going to place one on each side underneath the upper thighs or underneath the knees, depending on where is the most kind of supportive for you. And so your legs are resting down on these blocks. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Close down the eyes. Because this class is all about gratitude, I want you to start by taking a moment of gratitude for your physical body, for the ability to show up, to move in this way. Take a moment of gratitude for all that that physical body is able to do, to accomplish, the ways in which it supports you. Take a moment for yourself for showing up on this practice. As much as we know and can believe in the benefits of yoga and showing up on our mats, that doesn't mean that it's actually easy to show up sometimes. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to actually make this kind of time for yourself. And even just a short practice can feel really long, can feel like a huge time commitment. And so all of the barriers that maybe got in the way or tried to get in the way of this practice for you today, you were able to figure out a way to smash through them, to minimize them, and to prioritize this time for yourself. So take a moment to feel that gratitude within your body. And before I give you another moment in silence, find gratitude for some other aspect of your life, some aspect of your day, something that you are truly grateful for. And feel that in your bones. Feel that in your body, from your toes all the way up through the crown of your head. Allow that gratitude to soften into your being, to fill you up. Take a final round of breath. Bringing your knees together, moving those blocks out of the way, rolling over onto your favorite side, coming into a fetal position. When you're ready, pressing yourself up, coming into an easy seat. Root down through those sit bones, lift through the crown of your head. Inhale, sweep those arms out nice and wide, gathering up all this gratitude that we've cultivated around us. Let those palms press together, pull them down through heart center, pulling that gratitude in deeper to your being. Thank you so much for joining me. Om Shanti, Shanti Om, Om Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me. Go ahead and like this video. Let me know how it went. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And otherwise, I will see you next time.